Hi gang, we are going to be working on our 1.1 A notes, the first few pages of our notes here. So I have them on my screen here. We're going to talk through them. Again, always feel free to pause, rewind, go back, so that you get all the information that you have. The first thing that we're going to do in calculus is just talk about functions. So for today, we are going to talk about the different ways that you will see problems in math class. We have 4 of them here. These are the AP standard ways of showing problems, and so we are going to be working from that. The first way that you're going to see problems would be through story problems. Those are your traditional kind of story problems. We describe it all out, and then you work from there. You're also going to see numeric problems. Those numeric problems would be problems that have data or tables in them. So you're going to get all of your information from the numbers, and then you'll have to interpret those. Probably one of the most favorite ways of showing data is through graphs. We do a lot of analyzing of graphs. We look at how much they go up, how much they go down, their concavity, how much curve they have, when their curve changes, all kinds of things. So we will be doing a lot of graphing kinds of problems here. And then we have algebraic problems. Those are the traditional kinds of math problems that you've been doing all through algebra and pre-calculus. Kind of plug and chug kind of problems where you're doing a lot of order of operations, things like that. The problem or the difficulty of calculus, I think, is in the manipulating of the numbers, basic algebra things, and also we will give you a topic, we will give you an idea, a concept, and we will give it to you in any one of these 4 ways, and you have to figure out how to do it. So no longer are we going to give you one problem as an example in class and you're going to go back and do 10 or 15 in your homework. We're going to give you a concept, and now you can do it any different way. So you have to always just pay attention to the work. And that's probably the thing that makes calculus harder than other classes or other math classes that you've had before. So for this first problem, again, we're just reviewing functions and trying to figure out what we remember and don't remember. When we look at a function, remember we look at it in the term of f of x. This is the x value right here, and when we solve it, we find the y value, and those x and y values can make a point. And those points come from graphs. So all of this kind of works together. In your notes, if you didn't print this, what you should write down, letter A here, we need to find out what is f of 1 on this graph. So draw a graph. It doesn't have to be exactly like this with one swoop up and one swoop down. And we will label points so you don't have to have everything correct. Remember, in this right here, the x is equal to 1. So on my axis down here at 1, wherever you're going to put your tick mark, you're going to go up, and we're going to find this point right here. On my picture, that point looks like to be about 1, 3.5. So when x is 1, the y value is 3.5. So we say f of 1 is equal to 3.5. You've done lots of problems like that before in the past. Again, one more example. F of 5, where x is equal to 5. So I go to my graph, wherever it might be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right here is 5. And I find this point, which is 5, -2. And so I know that when x is 5, y is equal to -2, because remember f of x is y, or we have the ordered pair 5, 5, -2. All right. We're going to jump over and do question C here next. And in this case, the x value is unknown, and now we know the y value. So again, in your notes, write this down. F of x is equal to 1. We know that y is equal to 1, so I'm going to go to my graph, And now on the y-axis, I'm going to highlight the 1 here. And I need to find all of the places in the graph, the red line, red curve, that equal 1. And we have 2 of them. We have this one right here, and we have this one right here. Those 2 spots are where we are going to find our answer. And so we are looking for the x value. So I need to find this number right here, and I need to find this number right here. And right here, this first spot right here on the left, it looks like we have negative 1/2, comma 1. And this second spot right here, we have 1, 2, 3.5. It looks like we have 3.5, comma 1. Again, it doesn't matter whether you use decimals or fractions, so we have 2 answers, x equals negative 1/2 and x equals 3.5. We could write that as 3.5. Either one of those are good, and those are our answers. Now let's go to question B here. It asks us, what is the domain? The domain is the x values. Also asks us the range. What are the y values? So in this problem, we are looking at the x numbers, and the x numbers go from the left all the way horizontally to the right. Now, a couple things you have to notice right here. It's a little bit hard to see, but there is that little black dot right there. That is an open circle. And so if you don't have that in your graph, could you fill that in? This guy right here is open. That will affect our domain. That means our domain goes from negative 1 all the way up here to 8. If you count that out, that is 8. And it's all of the x values between there. So we can write that it's equal to 8, and it's only greater than 1. And that would be what we would call our domain. Now we will be using bracket notation, and bracket notation is when we use parentheses. And so negative 1 to 8, it looks like an ordered pair, but we have brackets on there. Now notice I have 2 different kinds of brackets. Whenever you have just a less than symbol or a greater than symbol, you would have a round bracket. And when you have a less than equal to or greater than equal to, you have a square bracket. So those correspond to each other, and that will tell you what kind of symbol you're using. Either one of those notations is totally fine. You are welcome to do whatever you want, whatever makes sense to you. It doesn't matter. There's nothing wrong with either one. When we look at our range values, we notice that we have a high up here and we have a low down here. It's a little bit hard to tell in this graph if they go above or below. I think the intention was for them to go right to the lines. Going up, if I look at this 1, 2, 3, 4, this is y equals 4. And if I go down 1, 2, this is y equals negative 2. So I can say that my range is going to be all of the values between negative 2 and 4, all of the y values in between there. Or I can write it negative 2 to 4, like that. And again, I think with those kind of compound inequalities like that, the brackets are really easy, and that's a good way to do that. The last question that we have here, follows question number letter C right here. They want us to find wherever we have the zeros. So again, we're looking at our number line here. Now we're looking at the 0 line, the x-axis, and this is a place where oftentimes people get, they stop paying attention a little bit, and you need to notice that, remember, we had this hole right here, so that is not an answer. We only have these two answers right here, 1 and 2. It is those two x answers. So we have x equals 1, 2, 3, 4. We have x equals 4, and we have x equals 8. All right? Let's move on to the algebra at the bottom of the page here.